10 years. It's a long time. Last day.
10 years. The money comes and the money goes, and I fear when you get out of hell, you never know how hard I tried to wait for tomorrow. No time left for me to borrow. Strung out and filled with sorrow, waiting for you for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, for 10 long years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Since I had it good, they wanna label me a bad man with a bad plan, running with this bad clan. Check this hit, I never been no angel. See, I was 19 and the streets had me tangled, dabbled into everything to make a brother richer and richer. I didn't see the picture, stereotyped and I fit the description. A young black male on the trail to the system. Never really knew that I was in that deep. All I really knew was I was off them streets. January, I was doing shows and shows. March, locked behind cell block doors. August, guilty by a jury of 12. So for the next 10 years, living life in a cell. My girl was tripping, cause the case confused her. I got found guilty, so I'm bound to lose her.
Put it all up on me with your arms wrapped all around my body. I dream the angels sing a moonlight song, yeah. When you got your fingertips so close to my warm sweet lips, I could kiss them all night long. Oh yeah, I want you. I miss you so bad. You know I need you. I miss you so bad. You know I want you. Yeah, I miss you so bad. You know I want you for 10 long years. You ran the game and we ruled the world, and my dear, you bought me everything from diamonds to pearls, and I never asked about your business. Risk your life for my sweet kisses. Another cold, lonely Christmas, I'm waiting for you for 10 years. Yeah, for 10 long years. Yeah.
Clerk was filing, DA smiling. 2 months later, I'm on Terminal Island. Young to the yard, hard but new to the game. I got romped out, stayed true to the name. Southern California was the spot they sent me. I grabbed the microphone and rocked the whole penitentiary. And everybody knew me as the Bay Boy. Straight from the V-Town, a Crest-Side playboy. I'm doing my time, and yeah, I can handle it. But still hella mad, cause I'm so damn talented. So this is for them brothers that be doing they dues. Whether running with gangs or hanging with crews. You need to wake up now, pal, find you a rap style before you be another young crossed out black child. Now I'm in the feds and I'm missing my family when I need to be home, being the man I was meant to be. Last day.
Put it all up on me with your arms wrapped all around my body. I dream the angels sing a moonlight song, yeah. When you got your fingertips so close to my warm sweet lips, I could kiss them all night long. Oh yeah, I want you. I miss you so bad. You know I need you. I miss you so bad. You know I Thank